Hello, friends. It's me. Who is me? No one cares, but except my mom. But the thing is, I'm going to show you some clothing. No, first starting with art, then clothing, and then book finds. So let's get going. I'll start with the art. So this first one's a pretty giganto. Again, a tiger piece, which always am fairly intrigued by the tiger pieces. Pretty big. I can't even tell if I'm showing it properly. But this one was actually not too bad. With coupon, it was about 12. Sourced at Goodwill. So that's a pretty neat piece. This next one's neat too. But this one's one of those ones I had mentioned in my other video where the issue is mostly that it might be poster, but I do think it's foam board. Jesse Orozco, but it's a beautiful piece. Even if it's foam board, I made an exception on a piece like this where it's just very nice, just graphic and imagery. I'm just going to readjust the camera here a little bit because I'm too short to be like having to lift stuff like that. I can't even tell what I'm doing. This one, it's made by my peoples, the Frenchies. So this one is 20th century, probably earliest 20th century. It's kind of like textile woven. It's actually something I would have honestly really hated when I was younger, but I appreciate it now in terms of I think it can look really cool in the right context for decoration, I mean. This one, this was a white dove pickup, and I really just think I picked it up because it was super cheap. It's like a couple bucks. Just a flower piece by Paul Lithenia. But kind of neat. Next, this is another white dove pickup, which is I have a little chain of thrifts here. I'll clean it up a bit. I'll probably actually pop these out of the frames and sell them that way because otherwise, if I'm selling, especially like on eBay, the shipping rates for this kind of stuff, if I'm selling that for like even $30-$40, the shipping rates are going to be like 60 or 70, which frankly I don't think it's really worth it. It's better to just ship it unframed. This one's actually a pretty cool one. These other than those last two, these were all sourced at Goodwill. This is a large Toulouse-Lautrec piece, repro poster, But this one, the cool aspect of it is large, and these kind of pieces, I mean, they look good when they're large because that's how they were originally designed. This was a cheap one, about $5. Done in 1996 for the Olympics, and it's just a great design. So say, I paid about $5, I'll probably just sell this for like 30, but it's really just a great graphic, which was what drew me to it, and it's got the sports angle, which is nice. Then this is a Edgar Degas ballet art piece. And I think when I was looking this up, there was a term someone had used for this specific print. It was like a soft ground print or something like that. So I wasn't too familiar with it, but this one actually might be decent. And it wasn't priced up. Paid $5. So and the thing with like those kind of Degas, Toulouse-Lautrec, these kind of impressionist sort of guys that are very well known is it's sellable, and it's cool. I like having it around. It's a lot of stuff. I think they're. I really like drawing personally because you can really see the artist's hands, and they were really great drawers. You can see their hand very nicely. It's beautiful. This one's a little pricier versus the others. It came in at about 12 with the coupon, I want to say, but it's got that Ikebana vibe, of just like beautifully presented flowers. The arrangement is Beautiful with that black background. So that one I was like, I will list it to sell, but I'll probably put it up in my own personal space just to enjoy it because I really like it. Next, this is another thing I kind of hated when I was younger. No disrespect, it's just how our tastes go. But now I appreciate it a little more. This is just felt kind of touristy and whatever. I think I saw a lot of this kind of stuff when I was younger. So maybe that's why I was like, whatever. But it's kind of fun. This is a piece, it's signed, and it's, I think Pont Neuf in Paris, something like that. And I think, this was like a style that was being done a lot in like the 50s or something, But yeah, actually that piece might be decent. So that's an interesting one, and the colors are nice. This is intriguing too, Asian. It's one of those silk embroidered pieces. It's quite nice. I think it's signed there, with the language I obviously don't know personally. So I can't truly tell you much on that piece except for, Google lensing and seeing what other people might say about it. But I don't know if I was able to comp that particular one actually now that I'm thinking about it. There were similar pieces, but not that same exact one. This is a cool one. I love this artist, Urte. They were an illustrator early 20th century, and they did a lot of illustration for the vintage fashion magazines. Like they did a lot of covers for Harper's Bazaar, and I'd love to collect some of those. Actually, they can be a little pricey, but I picked this one up on Facebook Marketplace. And wait, let me see here if I can show it. It's very easy to miss, but it's signed right there. Picked it up for $30. And the thing that's, it's nice that it's signed, but Urte signed a lot. So the supply is fairly high-ish, but it's still cool. And I'll love having that around and may even keep it. Going now into actually books. Books and media. Oh, wait. No, I did have one sculpture I have to show. I didn't even count this. I'm just like, this is fantastic. It's beautiful. I couldn't tell you the first thing about it, It had just been put out, and I'm like, it's beautiful. It'll at least sell in style. So what did I pay? I paid $8 with the coupon. So very cool. My dad's pretty hard to shop for, so I was kind of happy that I for once kind of stumbled upon something that kind of interested him. This is an old DVD box set featuring the actress Barbara Stanwyck, and she was in a lot of kind of like cool film noir movies in that like 30s, 40s period. I want to say I think she was in Double Indemnity. I haven't watched. I used to watch a lot of older movies. I don't as much anymore, just because I like. I've ended up preferring long format like series, TV series when I can, and I like to watch that in the evening like that. So this is Rudolf Steiner. His vintage paperbacks tend to do well. You got that like occult, mysticism. You got an interesting cover. Not sure on when this one is from though. 60. So yeah. I just sold this one, La Peste by Camus. This same edition, I mean. And this one does pretty well. It's, I think it's a very early paperback printing. Yeah, it is. This one, I do like the old Penguins. This one's not like a first print or anything. And frankly, I'll probably just sell it for like $5. Graham Greene, The Ministry of Fear. I'm not sure if I've read that one. I've read a few of his books. I remember we had to read The Quiet American back in high school, and I think that was my first exposure to him. Grendel, John Gardner. Haven't read this, but the cover is cool. And this is in fairly good condition. Oh, this is a very good book. Definitely recommend it. Memoirs of Hadrian by Marguerite Yourcenar. I remember really liking this book. It's basically written from the point of view of Hadrian. and I think it's very well done. That's my recollection. Probably one of those books I'd want to reread. Norwegian Wood, I showed some of these in a previous show until I found a bunch of them together. And these are very collectible. The cover art is by John Gall. And people like to have all those together. This was an interesting one because the tag was a bit older, so the book had been laying around for a bit. This is Eye of the World, first edition. Now, this isn't worth like $1 million or anything, but it's definitely got some decent value, like over $50. I think I tried to read this and I just couldn't get into it. That's my recollection. I like a lot of fantasy, and I know Robert Jordan has a lot of fans. But for whatever reason, I didn't kind of get into it. That's okay. This one's not worth a lot, but it's really cool. Une Semaine de Bonté, and it's illustrated by the surrealist artist Max Ernst, and the drawings are really good and very weird and bizarre. I'm trying to find some good examples. This like crow-headed dude is just like awesome. Well, I'm not finding them right now, but oh, there he is. So this is cool. I mean, this is not valuable, but it's neat in my opinion. This one, so I was talking to this book processor at one of the Goodwills. He's a very nice guy, and he's like, "Did you see this? Sebastian, do you see this?" I'm like, "No. Is it good?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, you should get it." I'm like, "It's priced at $25." So it's Queen, A Night at the Opera, and he's like, "Oh yeah, if you want it, I'll hook you up." So he did, and I'm actually first going to see if one of my record buddies would want this, because he's like a musicologist, you could say, and he's got one of the most fantastic collections and passion for the material. So I gotta check if he would want this first. But otherwise, I think it's fairly decent. I don't know if it's as valuable as my buddy or the Goodwill was thinking, but I don't have enough knowledge on records. I don't buy a ton of them, but sometimes if they're on a fresh card, I'll take a quick look. I really like these. These are vintage military yearbooks. So this one's for the tank division. I think it's let's see, it was like 61 and 62. So it's interesting. It's right as we're going to get into Vietnam, So, but you get a lot of great photos, and you can kind of see just get a vibe on the people involved, gives you a window into that particular, the feel of the people that were involved in it and everything. And it's, yeah, these are cool. And some of them can be valuable. I don't know if this one's particularly valuable, but it's interesting. It'll sell probably to maybe a military enthusiast or somebody whose family member might have been in this. Then we got Salvador Dali art book, Flammarion. Another, this is one of those artists I liked a lot when I was younger. Then I don't know, I just got tired of him. I think it's sometimes you get overexposed, or you're so used to seeing a thing that doesn't seem as interesting anymore. And that might be the case. Also, I think he was really good with marketing his work, like Picasso. So sometimes they suck up so much oxygen and energy from any art conversation. It's not to say that they're not good. It's just that it's overexposed. Just an opinion. Here's just an art catalog for some Asian art. As I've mentioned before, I like to pick these up almost more for just personal education and interest. And then, I get them for $2, and I'll sell them. I'll list them for sale, but, you don't make much on them, but I do appreciate them. And they're good tools for education, for collectors, for people that, have interest in this material, even if they're selling it. It's good. Although, a lot of stuff you can really just directly access online. But I obviously like physical objects. So, Daniel Boone, this is a vintage children's book. Illustrations by Rojanovsky. I want to say he was a Russian immigrant to the U.S., And he did work with little golden books, like some seminal books, it's like the Three Bears, or he's got some bear ones that are really cool. And those can be valuable, I want to say, if you find the first printings. But, you know, I really like this kind of the colors that it has a very printmaking sort of feel. So it's nice. I don't know if this is particularly valuable, maybe $20. But it's a cool, like, vintage children's book. Wayne Thiebaud, I didn't even comp this. I love Thiebaud. He's a great American artist, you know, doing a lot of work, 60s, maybe late 50s through the 80s. And he did a lot of still lifes, you know. I think that's what he's best known for. Let me see if I can dig him up. Yeah, with just like really like his shadows and everything. There's these like, he was a great colorist, you know. And his compositions were fantastic. And the cool thing is with his work is, you know, I think whether you're a technician within painting to just a regular person who doesn't even look at a lot of art, like across the spectrum, his work can appeal to technically skilled professionals to people who don't even really care about art. It's just like, oh, I like it. And he did some really cool landscape work too, like featuring San Francisco, and those are really, I think mostly San Francisco, but those are really great too. Now this next one, this is one of my favorite photographers, Guy Bourdin. He worked, I want to say he really started with Paris Vogue. I'm not 100% sure on that, but he did a lot of work with Elle magazine in, like, you know, 60s through late 70s maybe. And thing is, with him, he also did a lot of shoe advertisements for I want to say it's Charles Jourdain shoes, and those are really good. They have like his work is both sexy and kind of surreal a lot of times, but he's a great artist. One of my personal favorites. Yeah, that's a cool one. But definitely recommend checking out his work if you're a fan of photography. This one I paid up for because I got it at I think at the book gallery is what it was. So paid 20, but I really wanted this one for my own collection even. This is kind of a fancy pantsy Mouton Rothschild wine. Like, what I didn't realize, I got this actually from my dad. He's a wine guy. And he's hard to find stuff for, like the DVDs. So I'm like, wow, I'm really getting lucky actually finding one or two things he's interested in. But what's interesting with this, I didn't realize this, but they hired a bunch of different artists over time, you know, that would design their labels. And I thought that was cool. Like a lot of modernist artists, you know, they're like the contemporary avant-garde of their time, I suppose. And I didn't realize that kind of one of these, like, I would have assumed they'd be more conservative, you know, the wine labels with, you know, how they do things. So it was interesting to see that for myself. This is Charles Addams, best known for the Addams Family, and this one I do think has some decent value because even though the dust jacket is pretty, you know, chewed up and stuff, I'll use some archival tape on that to kind of it'll help preserve it. But this is first edition, and I think it was part of a bookseller's lot. They had a bunch of comics as well, or I think they were a comic seller, because there was a huge collection of comics, especially like Thor comics, like vintage ones, which will had overpriced, and that's okay because whatever. But this was a really cool find on that. This is just another Asian art catalog. Of a person's collection. It's actually interesting to see like the collector catalogs and books because just interesting to see how people curate their collections and what they're interested in and how they put things together. This one, actually, I wasn't familiar with this Mithila painting, so I believe it's from India. It's a particular, I'm assuming a particular region, and stylized in really cool. I imagine it would go well with like tattoos, you know, getting tattoos of this kind of style and work. Yeah, very beautiful. So this is, yeah, Mithila painting the evolution of an art form. R.C. Gorman, the posters. I find a good amount of R.C. Gorman stuff here, and I don't know enough about him from a personal side to know if he had some strong, like, Arizona ties. I assume he must have been carried by some galleries out here for sure, but maybe he also lived out here. But I have found several signed prints of his, which is pretty cool. This one, JMW Turner, I almost passed on this one just because while I do like Turner, this kind of stuff is fairly saturated, but because this is watercolors from the London museums, it had a bit of a specific thing it had going for it, and it might sell for between 20 and 30 would be my guess. This one, one of my reseller pals, a book buddy, passed it to me. Henri Matisse, The Early Years in Nice, 1916 to 1930. And I love Matisse. I mean, his colors and everything are just great, you know. This one might actually have value because I think it might be a decently hard to find book. But, you know, I got to research it. I didn't even really comp it when he passed it to me. I'm like, oh, you know, that's an interesting book to me at least. And so sometimes, you know, I'm just like, it'll be fine. It should be a good book. Going on to clothing. Actually, don't pick up this brand a lot. Brooks Brothers. And this one I actually got from White Dove. I picked it up because it's yeah, it has some cashmere. It's not 100% cashmere, but because it has some cashmere, I can at least use that as a keyword. Because, you know, if you're using keywords, you want it to actually be true. Because, A, you want to be honest with people, and B, they can eventually, you can't get reported for keyword spamming and not writing accurate listings. So you got to try and do your best to be straight up, in my opinion, with that. This is just a Manchester United jersey. Paid $8. I'm not sure what this will sell for, maybe 30. Then we got another Manchester. I think I got these both together probably. Manchester United was such a huge thing back in the 90s with Beckham and everything, which is what I kind of grew up with. And then, you know, they kind of went downhill, I guess, a little later. But yeah, I think this is a decent one as well. Nothing crazy. This is a J. Crew. It's size small, which is not good. But the good thing is, this is what a buddy told me, reseller buddy, is look for the little red guy, oarsman, on there. And that's usually good. And so, yeah, I picked this up, and I also picked it up because it was $4. So that should be decent. Nothing crazy, but kind of, you know, nice clean piece. This one was not a brand I knew, Billy Reed, but a couple aspects stood out to me for why I ended up picking it up. It's kind of this waffle knit sort of deal. It's got elbow patches. It's got, you know, just like little touches, like, you know, that are woven in. That's like, I try and keep an eye out for, especially if the material feels nice. And then even just around the collar, it looked nice, you know. I was like, and the tag itself looked interesting. Like sometimes when it's real simple like that, it means they're so good at what they do, they don't have to be fancier in your face. They let the material speak, or, you know, the work speak for itself. And also it's made in Peru, which is interesting. So yeah, Billy Reed, you know, sweater. I think that'll be good. I took a flyer on it. There weren't a ton of pieces out there of it. This is a vintage Death Star for football. Well, it used to be Death Star, not anymore. they're not that great. Dallas Cowboys, but still an iconic brand. This is by USA Pro Sports. Definitely vintage. Let's see, where was it made? I'm not seeing it right. Oh, in Korea. So that's usually good because that's like, I think, I want to say generally late 80s. So yeah, this one smells like that bubblegum stuff they use in the stores there at Goodwill and some of their, I don't know what it is, I'm curious, I actually like the smell. But this one came in at about $6.50. So that's good, it's a cool piece, even though it's size small. This is a good brand that, you know, I come across a little bit. Poncho. This is just a button-up short sleeve, but let me show you the label. That's how it is. Yeah, and it was a little bit priced up there, so you know I was coming in around $10 on this. But the good thing with Poncho is it's very in demand and very liquid, so the sell-through is good for this brand. So that's part of the reason I got it. Otherwise, I do try and avoid like really plain pieces like that. It's just red, which I'm just like, I don't know, kind of boring. But Poncho, liquid, and the material's good. This is a vintage Reebok windbreaker, and I like it because it's this monochrome deal here. It's just a nice touch. And this isn't super valuable because I paid $8 and it's a size small. You know, I'm maybe looking at 30. But I love the design on it. This one's interesting. Oh no, actually I was thinking of another piece, but I do like this one, size small. I'm gonna wear it like once or twice. Frida Kahlo, and it's got, you know, that contemporary stuff where they do stuff on the arm sleeves and everything, but it's a nice graphic of her. I love Frida Kahlo, you know, and not just as an artist, but in terms of style, her personal style was so cool. I wonder, there's got to be some good books about her and her just her fashion, you know. Oh yeah, this is a Polo Ralph Lauren t-shirt with the big pony, number 3. I got this one because it was cheap, because a lot of this stuff is quite saturated. It doesn't have a lot of like differentiating factors that makes it super interesting, but because I paid $4, I'll make money, you know, and I do really love Polo Ralph Lauren. So speaking of, this was actually a really good one. This is one I picked up off of Facebook Marketplace, and I paid $30, but it's a vintage reversible piece, and actually I don't want to do the IQ test on figuring this out because I'm going to fail, but it's reversible and it's a really cool piece, and it is fairly valuable. It's got a couple little flaws, which is kind of to be expected from from the 90s, you know. But the other side is a dark navy blue, and it's got polo on the back. Very nice piece. This one, you know, I've only picked up one of their hats before, and I only picked this one up. It's Fox Racing. I'll show you the thing here. There we go. But it's got that Sherpa lining on the inside. It's you know, flannel. I just realized there's a flaw in the back there. That kind of sucks. It's easy to miss stuff sometimes, you know. It's not you know, end of the world. It's just you want to always review stuff when you're listing it as well, to make sure you identify any flaws and point it out to buyers. Because you know, there's one of the worst feelings in the world to me is like, this is a service business, and so when someone, you know, pays you money for something, ideally you're gonna be able to make them happy and get what they're expecting, you know. And it sucks when people have a bad surprise and they're unhappy. I'm like, that's not the goal, you know. So strive to be transparent and try and take care of your customers is kind of my belief. And now, of course, there's going to be some jokesters out there who are pain in the asses, which always happens. You know, it's kind of almost like a 2%. You know, 2% are just going to be egregious. And when people are in bad faith, you know, you stay professional, but don't humor their bullshit, is what I say. Um, and anyways, but most people are very cool, and you want to try and take care of your customers always. So this is a nice Nike puffer jacket. It's contemporary, size 2XL, paid 18, so I did pay up, but I think it should sell maybe $80. That would probably be undercutting the market just a little bit, is my guess. And sometimes I'll do that if I'm like, you know, for larger items like this, I'm like, we gotta try and move stuff. So bigger stuff especially. And plus it's winter, so try and get this piece to somebody who can actually use it, like right now. Oh, this is just a great graphic. I mean, the downside is its size small, but look at that. This is one of those things where they took old school kind of thing, you know, in terms of, you know, the writing and stuff, but they did it in their modern style in such a cool way, in my opinion. They did a great design job on this, and the Japanese schoolgirl in her outfit and everything, and I mean, that's just so creepy fun. Oh, and it's the back is meet your, I can't say that word, maker. So cool graphics, size small, but it's a good one. Rolling Stones. This is from their gig in Montreal, I want to say in 2015. Quebec, it just says Quebec, I guess. But, and then whatever all those letters mean. But that's a decent one. This is one, I mean, decent in terms of, you know, that one was cheap. I think it was $6 or $7, and it can sell for, it'll sell possibly for over 50, so it's good, you know. This is something I have really very little experience in, or suits. Lasers, suits. I'm a complete moron when it comes to this stuff, but it's never too late to learn. Hopefully I just don't get wrecked too hard on this, but you know, this one cost me about 12. Okay, so the reason I got it though, so this is the brand. It seemed to be good from when I was looking it up. Made in Italy. One of those things that's you would tend to think, oh, that's always a good thing. You know, like some of the Chinese manufacturers have like a plant in Italy just so they can say that they made in Italy, but they have same shit design standards. Not that all Chinese manufacturers have shit design standards, but the thing is, some of them will try and, that do have the bad design standards, will try and get away with doing stuff like that, you know, just to pass it off that it's higher quality and so they can say made in Italy. And these were the pants, you know, called window pane, I guess, the patterning. As I said, I know nothing on this stuff, but I was like, you know, I'll try and sell this. I think for $12, given that that material feels good, I felt good about it. I'm like, this will be good. It'll, I'll get some learning experience with it. Because I mean, like, the more time you spend with anything, with the material, the genre, the niche, the better you get. You'll make mistakes, of course. Just don't make like mistakes that are going to sink your ship totally. Take logical risks that make sense to you within your context and framework. So basically, don't be stupid. But that aside, yeah, it'll be. I'll have to report on how that goes. This is a Levi's rubberized jacket that I got for $18. Kind of hesitated on it, but the condition is good. And you know, so $18, I'll see about selling it for $70, or maybe around there. I think that's fairly fair. You know, I want to say. Next, got this one, just kind of a basic, heavier duty Carhartt, like pearl snap button up shirt deal. This one cost about $12. I'll have to double check what these sell for. Nothing crazy, but it's kind of one of those like solid pieces, in my opinion. Going on, this is a cool one. I like this one, because it brings back memories of like my fandom as a kid for NBA basketball, because I think this is from the 90s, you know. So it's a vintage Chicago Bulls first pick jacket. paid a little bit up for it. So with the coupon, it was more towards 12. But the reason I did end up getting it too is because it had the original tags. And so it's like, oh, Teflon from DuPont. Wow, fancy. But you know, actually, these are like really good contextual cues, often and clues. You know, when you see the material and the material advertising. So say you have Orlon. Orlon was something that I think it was DuPont that was making, but that was more back in the 50s and 60s. And then yeah, Teflon and the way, the typography, all that kind of stuff. It can help give you clues on when it's from. If you're not, if some of the other tags aren't helping you. So that's one of those things that can be, I think it's fun because you're trying to piece together a puzzle when you're trying to identify things or learn about things. And, you know, there's various things that I would have never thought could be helpful that they do end up being helpful in figuring something out, or at least getting closer to what it actually is. Because some things are going to be just kind of impossible at times if you don't have enough clues. This one is a vintage, made in Korea, Western Levi's jacket. This one I did pay up for. Let's see, I'll have to double check what it was. Yeah, with the coupon it was 32. So it's another one of those, like Hugo Boss and some other thing I picked up the other day too that clocked in around there. But I think that one should be decent. It's not going to get me, I don't think it'll sell for over 100, unfortunately. So you kind of got to measure whether putting 32 into, I think it will 3x, but not really more, I don't think. And I don't want to try and sell it for 150. I want to try and give somebody a decent deal, you know? So try and be fair with what I try and ask for on it, but still make money. But I think it'll be okay. I was okay, you know, within my budgetary framework for that. This one is interesting because not a lot of info on it. I'll tell you the brand here real quick. Beanpole. So when I saw this, I'm like, this seems interesting because that's just a nice design touch. Plus, I mean, I don't know, the buttons look nice. It had other varying design touches that like looked interesting, you know. It looked like a nice jacket. So what this is a vintage South Korean brand. I think it's vintage. I mean, I still gotta double check, but here's the back. You can just kind of see there's a lot of design elements and it feels nice. So this one I paid, I think because Goodwill wasn't like 100% what this was either. They priced it moderately, like 15. So with coupon, it's about 12. And that one should be decent. And because I checked and I couldn't find a ton of info, but the few pieces I did find like on eBay, they did have a decent amount of activity or like watchers, which is, you know, doesn't always mean much, but can help you gauge that, okay, people actually have some knowledge or interest in this brand. Polo Ralph Lauren t-shirt. This one was $4. That's pretty cool, you know, like I don't pick up a lot of t-shirts for Polo Ralph Lauren unless there's kind of something going on with the design, you know. And that one seemed rarish. Saquon Barkley. This is a New York Giants jersey of his. I did come across one of his, I think it was Eagles, signed jersey, but Goodwill had priced it up to like 100, and it wasn't really worth it, but it was a cool piece, and I would have loved an excuse to pick it up, but I wasn't going to do that time. This one came in a little over $10, which, you know, NFL jersey not priced too badly of a very popular and successful player. That's a good thing. I'll pick it up in those cases, you know. He's such a great athlete too, you know. This one I picked up for myself. I love this graphic with the lady and the Marlboro, you know, retro advertising style there. Somebody's problem. It's just fun graphic and well done in my opinion. You know, this is just someone made this. This is not a brand or anything, but it's fun. So we went for it. This one was kind of a debatable one. It's not that it's bad. It's just It's a vintage Yellowstone t-shirt. I just thought it's a cool one, but you know, this one's not that rare. You know, there's quite a few out there. But for a little under $5, you know, oh, let me show you the tag actually. I think yeah, it's Fred Harvey. So I think that's 90s, you know, but not bad. You know, it won't sell for anything crazy, but it is a cool piece. Within that context of like nature, vintage nature t-shirts. This is a Beyonce concert shirt. This is actually a cool one. I like it when they do these black and white with looking pretty cool, you know, featuring the performer on there. I sold a cool like Tate McRae one a little bit like that. I'll have to double check on what this sells for. Maybe 30, 40. Size XL, but I am guessing that's a women's, which is fine. Oh, yeah. This isn't like an exciting piece in my opinion, but Hugo Boss graphic tee, priced are about $5 with the coupon on me. This one may have been a mistake, to be honest with you, and I'll have to just eat it if it is. But it's a Polo Ralph Lauren Golf 2016 Ryder Cup. So there are a few of these out there online. Well, I can't remember actually if they had the sweaters though, because this is a sweater. And material's pretty nice. Let's see here if I can tell you. No, I don't have it right there. But it is pretty nice. With the coupon I paid $16. So I still think it'll be okay. This one is, I've never seen this, a little Doraemon button up. This dude's so cool. I love Doraemon. I've actually never read the comics, but I love the graphic style. I mean, I love Doraemon as like a total casual human being. I don't have a, you couldn't call me a true fan. But that's the little tag, which is cool. Couldn't find much info on these. But yeah, it's a fun one. I will definitely wear that one once or twice. And then people will ask me all about Doraemon, like I'm a real fan, but I'll be like, yeah, he was great in, you know, the Avengers or something. This is Brandon Herring. I'm not super up to speed on contemporary-ish baseball, but this is a Diamondbacks jersey, majestic. Came in at about $6.50. So yeah. It's got that, what do you call it? You know, I still don't know. I should have looked this up or figured it out by now. Is that marbled or what? On the numbers, you know? I should know that. I don't. But it's okay. I mean, is it okay to live in ignorance? I mean, I should try and figure that out, actually, now that I think about it. Is it okay to live in ignorance when you can actually figure it out? That's what I mean. And I should figure it out. Blink 182 Ringer t-shirt. This one might have value. I'm not 100% because I'm gonna have to see regarding the tag what's going on. Oh man, I just realized they did it again. Those exceptional geniuses. They pen painted it. This on a light material when it's a light color. That's very annoying. Anyways, it's not a big deal. It's just annoying. Let's see. Iron Maiden Legacy. I found a bunch of these yesterday, actually. More contemporary-ish, heavy metal tour shirts. Like contemporary-ish for like, these were like bands from the 80s and 90s, a lot of them. But the graphics are so cool on these. Came in at about $4 on this one, size large. Yeah, when was this one from? It's 2018. And yeah, you know, some of the contemporary band shirts can be good. It just depends. Who is this? I have no clue. I have zero knowledge on this. But at the very least, should sell in style. Do I sound convinced? No, I'm not too worried. There you go on the back. 2015. Halfway to vintage. It's working its way there. Oh, I love this graphic. This one's cool. Yeah. Anthrax. Sorry to say it's size small, but that's a cool graphic. Now, I don't think this one's worth that much because, you know, it's 2022, but a great shirt. At least I like it a lot. Then we have Megadeth. Very cool. This one's going to be also one of the contemporary ones, 2022. I don't know if I ever really found any interesting vintage concert shirts. I did find a Grateful Dead one though, not too long ago. This is like even unbranded. It's just a Slayer t-shirt, but come on, man. Slayer, this is a good graphic. You know, this is the kind of things I'll probably list on Depop, and I don't even have to list some of this stuff for very much. It's just very fun, and the style. And the style's still very in vogue, you know, that heavy metal, it's going to have its run, you know, where people just get tired of it, you know, it'll have, sometimes style stuff has runs for like even 7 years, and boom, it's just like, oh, we've had enough of it. And then it fades out. But I tend to think, you know, if a thing is good, it's going to last. And who cares about styles? I mean, you can ebb and flow with the styles of your time. It makes sense. I dress of my time period. If I was in the 1890s, I wouldn't be dressing like this. But so we're always kind of playing off the culture and the styles around us. All a product of our environment in a certain sense. But things have their runs, basically is what I'm saying. What was this one? Oh, another Anthrax. Yeah, this is cool. Came in at about $250. So, yeah, very neat. 2018. Oh, and this one's cool too. This one has just achieved vintage status. Betty Boop, 2005. It's I think it was on the graphic somewhere. The 2005. And I'll show you the tag on here. I was with my bookseller buddy, the guy who passed me the Henri Matisse book. And I was just showing him a few of the things I found. I'm like, look at this, vintage 2005. He's like, that makes me feel old, you know, and I'm like, Ted, I'm older than you. And he's like, oh yeah, that sucks for you. But anyways, we had a laugh about that. Anyways, I actually think that's everything. I'm trying to think what my favorites were. You know, probably one of the more interesting pieces was the vintage Ralph Lauren jacket that I showed. The reversible one, which I didn't actually reverse because it was too difficult for me to figure out. Then otherwise, I think the Matisse book is pretty good. The Eye of the World by Robert Jordan is an interesting find, especially because it's in such good condition. And I also like the fact that I found it in the children's section. It's always vaguely pleasing to find something that you wouldn't expect in a different section, and it's like, oh, that's a good thing. And then, you know, actually just thinking on that, just yesterday, I was in the children's book section, and I came across a book on group sex, and I'm like, I think someone did that deliberately, just to mess with the children. I'm like, whatever. I was vaguely amused. And, you know, you find some weird stuff in the children's section. I found some cool horror, vintage horror paperbacks, actually. But yeah, anyways, if you have any corrections, because, you know, like I say, I'm running through a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff I don't know, make assumptions on. I can be mistaken on price, expectations, whatever. I always appreciate that. Any corrections, I mean. And then, yeah, if you have any comments, suggestions, appreciate that as well. I'll do a what's sold video very soon. I got some interesting pieces I want to share in that. And then, yeah, you know, the most important thing, just keep having fun. Take care.